All right, more story stuff. Hope you're enjoying this. It's maybe cathartic for me. People ask me sometimes where I come from. Like, how did I get to be this jammin' violin guy? What in my history made me be this kind of rebellious, do your own thing, plow your own path kind of musician? Well, not to talk too much about myself and my own family. I guess I got different things from both sides of my family. My mother's side is German, good people, steward. They're steadfast in their life. They have good jobs. Some of them are mechanics and race car and hot rod enthusiasts. I kind of like that. Nobody except my mother was a musician. A few people played a little bit of piano. My mother started me on piano. My mother has been a church organist her whole life, and got me started early on piano lessons when I was 5, and I later took other instruments, the violin, guitar, the bass, and different things. So I guess my mother got me started on music and taught me the beginnings of music theory. So that got me an early start on the mechanics of music. My dad's side of the family, though, is where I think much of my passion and individualism comes from. My dad's side is all rugged individualists, whether it be farmers. None are really musicians. Maybe I should go back further. My great-great-great-grandfather, as I've said in another story, was Oliver Hazard Perry, the famous admiral of the Navy in the Revolutionary War, War of 1812, actually, against the British. Pretty famous guy. He's on the back of a quarter, and there's statues of him all around up in the Buffalo area, and different things like this. Is in most history books. His brother, for better or for worse, Commodore Matthew Perry, opened up trade to China in the early 1800s, for better or for worse. This is the history where I come from. I'm supposed to be related to Benjamin Franklin and the Duke of Orange, whoever that was, I'm told. My father's side of the family has a bit of arrogance, for sure. My grandfather was a dean of a college and a preacher who never, I noticed, had a church. I learned later that he decked his boss off the front of the porch of the church when the guy assaulted his wife, the bishop, his boss. So he was a preacher but didn't have a church. I got an uncle who's a poetry professor. I have one who invented the round hay bale. My own father, I could go into many stories about him as being a black ops assassin in the Korean War era in the Asian theater. There's millionaires. There is very unique people on my father's side of the family. And I guess all that mixes genetically or experientially in me. I'm not claiming to be that unique. I play the fiddle okay and know some music and try to do my own thing. But that's part of my story. It's how the families mix together. I married a woman who has musicians in her family. My brother-in-law, Dallas, my nephew, Daryl, who we did a record together. He's a great drummer. My wife is 12 years my senior, which is unusual, I know, in the world, and was a young grandmother, so I became a grandfather at 27. Imagine that. I was the cool grandpa, I hope, and tried to be that. And now we are great-grandparents as well. At this point, we have 7 grandchildren and 7 great-grandchildren. Imagine that. And I'm just turning 60. I took the advanced class, I tell everybody. So yes, my path has been unusual. It still continues to go as the good Lord re-shows me how normal I actually am, just like everybody else. I'm not special, and no more special than anybody else in this world. And those are all humbling lessons as we go too. So that's a little bit of my family history, where I come from, only because people ask. And I don't like to blab too much about myself. I think the ties to past famous people are only a moderately interesting footnote. You can hear other stories here about that. The Oliver Hazard Perry quarter coin. I have a story on this series already. And God bless those who have all come before me and left this planet, and bless those who are still here and trying to do our best in this world. And hopefully I'll help inspire others or help other people in some way. That's my goal, especially when it comes around playing fiddle freely. All right? So amen. I hope you enjoy, and leave some comments if you think I'm full of crap. All right, thanks.